What's up, Blue Chips? How we doing this morning? I forgot to turn that off. Let it roll through. Like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Always appreciate that support. So, yeah, interesting morning. Sorry I'm running a little bit late. The little one was not cooperating. I was actually here early, ready to get going, and he did not want me to get going. So we're here. Taking a look at Tesla, just going absolutely insane. We thought it was going insane yesterday, and then it gapped up over, what did it close at yesterday? Like 7. So it's up over 100 points. It gapped up over 100 points. Just absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. But, okay, so I don't really have too much to say. Let's do the intro real quick. I forgot. Running behind. Excuse me. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's the only way to grow. Hold on. Let me take the green screen filter. Oh, come on. Nothing is working this morning. Chroma key off. There we go. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's the only way to grow. Let's get to it. It is so true, guys. Getting out of your comfort zone in the stock market is the only way you're going to grow. And it's actually a pretty good saying, for the main reason being, if you are one that has an issue with taking profits too early, like I am and was and still am a little bit, but that's why I developed a system to help me prevent doing it on my own. So that's basically what that's saying, is you need to make yourself uncomfortable and not take profits early so that you can actually let your winners run. And you just need to be comfortable losing, or you need to be uncomfortable losing just, that smaller amount, because if you are not, you're just going to let it run against you, and you're going to end up losing more. And you're always going to end up losing more than you end up letting your winners ride, and it's just always a disaster in the end. And I found that out the hard way a few times. So it really does come down to being uncomfortable. You need to make yourself uncomfortable so that you can learn how to grow. If you just sit in your comfort zone forever, it's going to be a super long journey, or it could be a short journey because you end up dwindling any profits that you make away. But Jeff, what's going on, man? Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good morning. It is Tuesday, by the way, Taco Tuesday. I always say Taco Tuesday, but now it's just going to be like ground beef Tuesday or something. Hey, Tim, just wondering, how do I change my level 2 window so I can see red as selling and green as buying? Giovanni, I'm assuming you're in here. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you about the new buttons in a second. There is Giovanni, speaking of. I think if you right-click and go to level 2 config, you can change all these tier colors, but the problem is you can't get it for one side and the other. Or, well, no, I don't think you can. You could look around in here and mess with it, but I think no matter what you change, it's going to change it for both sides. Because what it's doing is whatever the bid and the ask is, then the next bid and the next offer, it changes colors and so forth and so forth. It's a way to distinguish where there might be some more liquidity versus other spots. So I don't know if you can just change it just to green on one side and red on the other. So Kyle, what's up, man? Marketing, what's going on? Welcome. Got about 2 minutes here until the bell. So these buttons, real quick, let me go up to my scanner screen. So looking at my scanner screen, if you guys remember in my video yesterday, I was talking about this chart. Well, basically what I did is I took this chart and turned it into hotkeys. So now when a move is 10 cents, I can hit this button, and let me make sure, let me put it on demo just in case, but I can hit this button and it'll load, if the move was 10 cents, how many shares I should be taking. If it was 25 cents, I just hit it and it loads the amount of shares that I should take. And this is all based off of my current risk of $25 any given trade. My 1R on any trade right now is $25. So based on the move, this would be my first entry size, give or take. So that's what that is. They're fancy new buttons. And then if we go back up to the scanner screen real quick, I still have my take profit chart up here, up in the middle top up here, the notepad that's open. And so pretty much any size that I take, I have it listed here. So that first one, if it was a 10-cent move, if I got full position, I would have to look for 5 cents on 500 shares to get 1R, which is 25 bucks. And if you guys remember, if I only get one entry and it starts to work right away, I'm only looking for 0.5R, and that's what I listed here in the first column. So if for some reason I only got those 250 shares to start, I would only need 3 cents to make half an R to get everything exactly where I want it. What's up, Constantine? How we doing this morning? So I don't really have anything on my watch list. I just kind of sat down, and the only thing I looked at this morning was Tesla, just because I was like, I wonder what it's at, and this thing is just absolutely nuts. I personally think we might get a push towards 1,000 intraday, and it might be one of those ones where it hits that key area and then finally decides to give up a little bit, but we shall see. Got 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's the bell. Let's get it, guys. Stay safe. And I did not change my second montage to that new way yet, so I'm most likely going to be trading just off of this chart, at least to get my entries. All right. So nothing as of yet. I'm just going to move Tesla down here because obviously don't really care. I'm not looking to trade this thing as I retype it. BE. Do have shares on BE. It has some really big resistance up at 10. If it gets to 10, it'd be a point move. Really nothing else right now, man. Tesla took a hit there out of the gate. What's I doing? We actually don't have shares on I right now. I just realized one of my montages were locked. Man, I remember that thing was getting crushed. ALLT. We have shares on ALLT. The float is a little bit higher than we'd like. Let's switch charts here. Thank you, bud. Taking a look at the daily, this thing is gapped up. This thing is in a huge curl to the upside. It just got through some pretty good resistance. BE, we'd love to see this thing get over 950, which would make it, let's see. I'm just checking the share size for BE down here. What's this V? So that's not really doing what we wanted it to. What is this thing? VVVV. What's the float on this? 188. Oh, there is BEE. All right, we started BE. I don't know why I said it BEEE, but we'll switch that chart over. So I figured if it got the 50 pop, I loaded what would be for 75, which was 35 shares. So now, if we only get half of that, so what is it? So our share size is 35. So apparently that's one that I don't have a calculation for. But it looks like it's... How do I not... Oh, because this is total, so it's okay, 18 cents. I have VVV up. Like this one still has some room on the daily. Is that? Oh, there is some resistance here. I just don't like how it looks like the VWAP's way up there. I'm gonna let that go. What did I say we need for BE? Excuse me, 18 cents. So that would put us at 50, 51. Is that right? Yeah, I guess it's right. We'll just put our order there if it wants to give it to us. I feel like that's not right. That can't be right. Well, that never dropped. We're sitting on the bid here. 35. I feel like my math is off here for some reason. Hold on, bud. Where's my calculator? 12 divided by 5. Or it'd be 35 divided by 12. No, so it's actually 35 cents that I would need. Sorry, my son is... So let me cancel this order. Because that's not right. I have to get you... I literally just did this last night, so it's a little confusing to even me at this point. So I'll just look at the P&L at least for right now. But it was the exact... I mean, we used the right share size. But 51 is clearly not where we need it. So 18 cents is not what we were looking for. I mean, we can figure it out real quick. So I already did. It's 36 cents. So 9.69 minus 36 would be what? 9. That makes 0 sense. 9.69 minus point. Oh, I did times 36. So 9.33 is what we need. Okay, we'll put the order out there for that. And we did miss VVV there, which ended up working. Let's see what else is LTHM. All right, we got our fill there on BE. Exactly right where we wanted it, 1250. We got 1260. So perfect. Got our half R on one entry because we top ticked it. Taking a look, let's switch over to LTHM here. See if it wants to give us another push. I feel like we would have been in this one. So this moved about 50 cents. Looks like if we were to get in, though, we would probably get in for a little bit more. So if I needed 36 cents there, 70. I'll have to figure that out later. So we're going to load here. See if we can't get this pop back through. If we do get the pop back through, my son, I'm sorry, guys. We'll see what it does at high a day, which is 61. I mean, the bids are stacking up here. It definitely looks like it wants to at least go back through 50. There it goes. It's kind of struggling. Like to see this go through high a day. There it goes. Kid's doing nothing but wanting me to do everything for him right when I can't. I mean, I could, but I mean, he's fine. All right, we're going to start this. We got 57. Felt like it was kind of a little bit of a fake out there. Let's see what else is moving here. TCO. Can't win with him right now. All right, so 50. We would need. So that one's right. 25. Okay, I see what I did. We need 1032. It's looking like it wants to keep trying, though. I have this TCO up. Not really liking how it's moving, though. Okay, here we go with LTHM. What was our first one? 1057? Okay. I'd like to see this through 1070 if it wants to get there before we get the ad. It would kind of suck if this wants to be an 11 magnet, because that would kind of put us right at our spot that we don't want to be at. Get that one more little push for an ad. There it is. All right, we're going to get our ad there. So now we're in the full 100 shares, which means 25 cents from 1067. So 1067 plus 0.25. I mean, I should be able to look at my chart. 1092. All right, so 1092, which is going to kind of suck if it gets there, but 1092 and then 1067 minus 25, 1042. All right, range order is in. Either it works or it doesn't. Let's see if we can find something else while that's going. Like I said, if LTHM wants to be an 11 magnet, it's going to kind of suck, because I realized that once we got our first entry, it was going to put us right at our max loss right before it. But it is what it is. Either it works or it doesn't. I mean, it's pretty extended. Obviously, we can hope for some sort of a pullback before it attempts to try 11. It is really extended. VWAP's all the way down here near $10. But, hey, sometimes they're just not going to work out. This TCO is interesting. Just not sure. I'm very interested in it. It doesn't really have good spots on the daily. The range is pretty crazy. Looks like it's trying to push on LTHM there. Might get a squeeze just to get us out right before hits that $11 area. But we can always look to get back in if it does like squeeze up through 11. But if there's any key to what my luck is, it'll stop us out. It'll go up to 11, reject, and then that'll be that. But I'm not going to lie. I love the idea of just the set risk. It feels good. Like I have the range order set. Either I win or I don't now, right? Either I'm right or I'm wrong. There's no let's keep playing it. Let's keep fighting it. Let's keep doing any of that crap. It's either I'm right or I'm wrong. It's that simple at this point. It's just, and I don't even need to have patience per se because the range order's in. The only patience I need is just to sit there and watch and see what it ends up doing, which it looks like we're about to get stopped out. Keeps getting bought up. I mean, it's just not really getting any kind of a pullback. Just really nothing else. Everything else that's moving right now is a little bit lower float. NIO is still cranking up from the other day. Yeah, it's things like a 11 magnet at this point. It just keeps kind of getting bought up here. I'd be really surprised if we don't get stopped out. I mean, the only thing we could have did a little bit better was maybe waited to add, but I mean, there we go. We're about to get stopped out. And we're on. All right. So, and I'm glad that we actually got our fill correct. So we lost exactly 1R. So I'm not mad at that at all. That's exactly. I mean, sometimes they're just not going to work, guys. But the old me would still be looking to add if it would have popped through 11. And that's when you kind of get caught in some really bad trades because you look to add through 11 and then it pops up and just keeps on going and uses 11 as support. And your first entry was all the way down here and you're stuck. So, and I just knew that this was going to happen, though. But, I mean, it did get up to 96. The only thing that we could have did differently was wait to add a little bit longer. But on that push, it got really extended. And we see this all the time. And usually we get that pullback after that. But the market likes to mess with me a little bit. What's wrong with you today? Are you just tired? Trying to fix it. Give me a sec. Where'd you put it? What is that? What did you spill? Hold on, I just gotta get some paper towels. Go get some cars. Sorry about that, guys. So everything decided to slow down. What's this TCO doing? 27. This is a 3-point move. What would that give us as far as share size? 10 shares. Just don't. The volume in that is just, I don't know. It's a little iffy. I'll keep LTHM up here. See if it wants to go through 11. We'd look to maybe get back in. But unfortunately, it's looking like we could obviously have got ourselves a nice top tick here. Could look to play sloppy seconds if we really wanted to. Just risk off of high of day. What is wrong, Camden? What's wrong? What's wrong? What? Oh, are you serious? Oh. How did you even get that open? All right, what am I missing that's going off in my ear? GNPX. That's a low floater anyway. So LTHM trying this $11 area. Got the 1099. We're going to try this again. We're just going to risk 11 here. It's going to just be a double top slash looking to get back in for the fake out here. Looks like it could have been a fake out trying to get over 11. If it wants to go over 11, we'll just take the stop. See if we can't ride this back down. I got that right? 11? Okay. Just making sure I had that right. It's kind of a right or right out type trade. Just looking for this. I mean, we see these fake outs all the time. We're still really extended. If it wants to bite us by actually faking through 11 at this point, that would kind of suck. But, I mean, it would be what it is. It would be that kind of day, I guess. NIO is crazy. Yeah, NIO is pretty crazy. Going green on the TCO short. Not sure I would have held with real money. Yeah, TCO is an interesting one. I just didn't like how that was moving on, and just the way the volume completely died off like that. I wasn't really too interested in it. This LTHM is just, it's crazy. It almost feels almost like a buyout, right? Just kind of getting up there and just consolidating in this area. Real no pullback. I actually meant to go full size on this, so it might benefit us if we get stopped out that I actually meant to do 100 shares. Tim, I did not see TCO hit the scanner, did you? I did. Yeah, I saw it. I actually pulled TCO up on my other chart. I just didn't play it because I didn't like the way it was pretty spready when I pulled it up, and I had already missed that first move. It had came back down. It almost gave back a point by the time I even looked at it. Everyone's talking about how Tesla's getting crazy. Yeah, and look at TCO now. That thing just shot up a whole point. Pretty much. Pretty close. Holy crap. So Tesla out of the gate got crushed, and now it's up to highs at 940. That's crazy. Looks like LTHM is about to try to go stop everybody out. It's going to be funny because it's this is probably going to be another like fake out type move where it's going to go through 11. It's going to eat the liquidity there. And then it's going to probably get sold into and brought right back down. Yeah, gotcha. And now Tesla's just, this thing is moving 20 points at a time. That's kind of scary. I'm afraid we might get some slippage here too on LTHM. There it goes. See if it gets through. It's looking like it wants to. Oh, got rejected a little bit. Yeah, and that's just another little lesson. It's kind of a catch-22 to put your stop right on the other side of a whole dollar because a lot of times you'll get slippage, but you never want to put it right at the whole dollar because a lot of people, tend to get stopped out at the whole dollar, which to me it makes no sense because it can run into some pretty big resistance there. So you should use that wall to your advantage, like hide behind that wall. Take that little bit more of a risk of getting a little bit of slippage, knowing that you could be protected by that wall at the whole dollar. The only time you should really put your orders on a whole dollar is if you're looking to get out of your position, right? So that you get all that liquidity going into it. But even then, I tend to front run it by a penny or two because usually you get that fill as it's going into that big liquidity pool. Jeez, Tesla just got smacked from 940 all the way down under 900. That's crazy. Mr. Gifford, the scanner, Brian has proven to us in the past that when something gets alerted, it's almost safe to say that it's a high percentage play to just jump in when it's being alerted. Now, take that with a grain of salt because if it's a low floater, it can get alerted multiple times. So you always have to take that into account too. So sometimes that first alert can be a little early. The scanners are designed to be early. So the idea is to go off on the scanner, show you that it's making an intense move, give you that time to pull up the chart, and then be able to see your setup, see your edge, and then get into the trade. So that's the idea behind the scanners. But Brian has proven to us that if you were to just hit the button every time the scanner went off, it can be profitable. Yeah, some moves are pretty quick. Some moves can be pretty quick. Just can't seem to get like a winning streak going here. Had the nice first trade there on BE, and then LTHM decided to mess with us. Just no pullback. Now we're attempting to try this again, a right or right out type trade. Here it goes trying. I feel like if it tries 11 again here, it's definitely going to get through. There it is. All right. So we got stopped out. What did we ended up getting 1103. So we got 2 cents slippage. And let's see if we were right. if it wants to just eat that liquidity right there and then go back through and finally make its pullback. I have a feeling this is going to look like an ugly chart come an hour from now, but it kind of is what it is. There's really not much we can do about it. I mean, because how many times you see something go through a whole dollar like that and it just shoots up, 20 cents, right? That's kind of what you have to play for. You can't assume that it's just going to stop like it is. It pretty much just stalled right when it got through, which is kind of weird. And that usually means it's going to be a fake out, but you can't take that risk, right? You just can't. It makes no sense to take that risk. I'd rather take my little loss there. It ended up being, $7.50. So it wasn't even a half hour loss, but we were looking to gain much more than that. We were looking for this to ride all the way back down towards 1050, even maybe a little bit lower. So the risk to reward was there. It just didn't work, right? Not every trade is going to work. The sooner you realize that every time you hit the button to get into a trade, that stock can do whatever it wants, the better off you'll be. You're not always going to be right. And it took me a long time to learn this, and I'm still in the process of hammering it into my head. But it's so true. Once you are in a trade, you have an idea, you're getting into the trade for a reason, but it doesn't mean that reason is going to be correct, right? You have to admit when you're wrong, and you have to keep your capital under wraps just to make sure that you're not putting yourself in danger like I used to all the time. But I do have a feeling this chart's going to look pretty ugly in about an hour. I mean, granted, again, I could, if I wanted to, hop back in this again and just risk high a day. Right? Just another right or right out type play. Because it did come back through 11, but now it's going back up again. But that is a play that would be reasonable, right? It gets shoved back down. You're like, okay, this is a fake out, and it's most likely going to have a pullback here. So maybe we'll just risk high a day again, which we're going to do. Put the stop at 11:07 this time. Let's make a market. So these trades aren't bad, right? These are low risk trades. Either it works and you get a nice pullback finally, or it doesn't work and you only lose. In this case, I would lose 9 cents. So I'm looking to make I'm looking to make 50 cents, and I'm only risking 9 cents. So the trade idea is there. This isn't my typical play. Nothing else is going on. I've been reading this stock the whole time. I see how it's been acting. So I feel like I can make a move like this because I'm not really risking that much. So, and how many times do you see me say that this is exactly what's going to happen, and I just watch it happen? So this time I said, you know what? I'm not going to be scared. There's no reason to be scared, right? Either it works or it doesn't. And to be honest, I could have took bigger share size there again. I keep just taking the 50 shares. I should be taking the 100 shares because it's either right or right out. And it's so close that I should be max size. It will go to 1150. I mean, yeah, it could. I won't be in it if it goes to 1150. I'll be out at 1107 or maybe a little slippage, but I definitely won't be riding it that high. It's in a weird spot on the daily, but yeah, there is some pretty good resistance there at 1150. I mean, there was some good resistance down here at 1030, but it kind of shot through that. That's kind of what we were hoping when we first took our first entry, was that it would bounce off or go through and be a little bit of a fake out through that gap fill right there, and then start to come back down. But this thing is obviously pretty strong, and we're back through 11. What was the order at? 07. Looking like we might get stopped out again. That's a big bar. I think if we do get stopped out this time, we're gonna say we're done. 3 losses on the same stock, whether they're small or not. Um, it's just like, okay, maybe this isn't your stock to play today. I mean, this thing is crazy. Just no pullback, like at all, so far. Yeah, SPY. I looked at the SPY. TCO is going back up. What's Tesla doing? Tesla's kind of chopping around. We're about to get stopped out here. Looks like might get a little slippage too. We'll see. At high of day. There we're on the bid, or we're on the ask. Oh. It only got to 110625. All right, we're back on the ask, and there we go. So yeah, oh, we actually did get 1107, so that works. So I'm gonna be done with LTHM. That thing is just not doing what we want it to do. If it gets back up to 1150, maybe I'll give it another shot. Looks like it's running into some sellers here at 1110, but I'm not even going to bother. You might actually get eaten right through, maybe a big short cover or something. No, it's going to get rejected right after. And there it goes. ADRO, nothing there. MYO, nothing there. Oh man, F you LTHM. And it shot right back down right after it stopped us out. I mean, you can't keep predicting these fake outs, right? I mean, I'm jumping in after it seems to be a fake out. I'm not jumping in as it's a fake out, if that makes sense. I'm letting it confirm it, and then I'm just risking that high of day. So it's a little frustrating. I mean, we're just taking little paper cut losses here, but it still kind of just sucks because it's like you would think how extended this thing is, it would give you some sort of a pullback, but it's just not. And I'm sure now that we are finally saying we're done with this thing, it will finally pull back. So now this chart's going to look even more ugly 45, 50 minutes from now. A little frustrating. And there it goes. It looks like it's going to try to break that 90 area. What do you mean, Mr. Gifford? LTHM, you're breaking my heart. Yeah, I just had MYO up. Yeah, Mr. Gifford, message me on Discord, and we can get in more in depth if you want about the scanners as far as playing the alerts. But yeah, they're definitely interesting when you really break it down. What's this ADRO doing here? We'll put LTHM down the bottom. Just kind of get it off. We're not going to play it now. It's obviously finally giving us the pullback that we were looking for. What was I looking at? ADRO. ADRO. The float on this is 51 mil. Just broke a previous resistance. Coming up to a fairly key area at 250. So it'd be nice to see it make a little bit more of a run than this. 2, so it'd be about 50 cents. 50 cents is 50 shares, right? Yeah. Probably go more like 75 shares on this one if it wants to run. Constantine, I see you're having the same issue as me with LTHM. I'm not mad at all about LTHM. Just frustrating that it didn't work. Tried it 3 times. Excuse me. Ooh, what did Alex say? Neo? What's Neo doing? Forming a triangle will go up 480, 485. See, I see a descending triangle on NIO, personally. ADRO didn't really make enough of a move for us to get into it. Kevin says, good morning, Tim. Thanks for the information about not opening a $1,000 account at CMEG last week. So what I did was open a $500 account at E-Trade and $500 at TD Ameritrade. So I can build. Perfect, man. Yeah, I will never recommend to somebody to open up a CMEG account with possibly even, I always recommend. Sure. Am I back? Okay, yeah. I think I lost audio there for a second. But yeah, starting with anything less than 2,500 or even 3,000 is kind of just a no-no. You need to be able to handle the commissions and the fees and stuff while you're getting started. So definitely the right move there, Kevin. Starting with, and you did the right thing. You split it up, and now you have commission-free trading on 2 separate accounts. And if you do decide to make day trades, now you got 6 of them instead of 3. So that was very smart. And could I play MTG? Yeah, I could have. I don't know. How did I miss it? Was this in the pre-market? No. I missed MTG. Or, well, MTG, that was the lower float, wasn't it? No. Just missed it. MTG was a miss. Was it alerted? I don't see it. I don't see it on the tracker, but the tracker only goes back, I think, 20 trades. BLNK. We have no shares on BLNK. It's a lower float anyway. Just kind of taking a look at it. What do we got? MIO. What's that still doing? What's Tesla doing? Tesla back under 900. I honestly thought this would be $1,000 magnet at this point. Just look at the daily on this. Just this Tesla daily, I mean, is just a thing of history right there. Yeah, if there is a such thing as straight up, that's about as straight up as you can get. It reminds you of was it Tilray? I think Tilray was another one over here. Just curl, and then boom, just straight up. But that was a lower float. Tesla is not a lower float stock. So the fact that it's making this kind of move is just nuts. It looks like BLNK is deciding to try to do something. We don't have any shares on it. It's a lower float. Keep an eye on it, though. Mr. Gifford, I thought you had said a different stock. MYO. So BLNK and MYO are going off on the scanners. Looks like MYO is actually close to a halt. It could halt at 1377. It looks like it did halt earlier to the downside. These are the stocks that are a little scary. And here it goes. Let's switch these over. MYO. So you can see the halt price right here at 1377. I'm also looking, I'm not watching it religiously, but I just looked at LTHM and saw that it's still over 11. That's nuts. Thing just didn't pull back at all. Like, real quick, just take a look at the chart. It just went, it almost looks like a buyout. It's just consolidating up there. It's crazy. It's definitely not something you normally see, which is why I played it 3 times. I played that thing 3 times because I felt like I was in a high probability setup, and the market said, guess what? Your high probability setup on this today is not what we're doing. So MYO is looking to halt here. 1407. All it needs is that 14 break, and this will probably halt. Oh, halt moved up there. Sometimes you'll see the people that are buying this stock, they'll actually wait to hit that halt price as it's there now until like the next minute so that it pops up so that they can just keep getting the short squeeze. It's something I've seen a lot lately. You'll see them kind of just like hold position, and there it goes. It's halting. Oh, close. It's actually not halted yet. It's trying. Nope. And see now, and see how it moved up, and then look at it. Just shoots right up to the new halt price. Sometimes I wonder if that's a strategy that the big money implies into these low floats, because they know if they can wait a little bit longer, they really force the shorts to kind of get squeezed out. And it definitely looks like it's going to halt this time. No. Oh, look at that. It went from 48 to 68 instantly. This is nuts. It's still not a huge imbalance. It might not halt here. Nope. It's trying. They just can't get the buyers to really step in on the bid. Oh, there they go. There it goes. Yep, here we go. Now we're going to halt. And there it goes. Right at high of day, too. That's crazy. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything that went on this morning? Any questions or comments just about anything in general? Feel free to ask. Things are slowing down. I'm not really seeing anything for us to trade, but obviously I'm still looking. But it looks like everything's starting to slow down a little bit. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Always appreciate that support. Feel free to hit that like button to help out the YouTube algorithm, and it helps the channel grow. The more people that come in here, hopefully the more we catch before they find those other gurus and, you know, get a little misled. My name's Tim, if you are new as well. I like to be very truthful, very transparent, and that's kind of the basis around my channel. That's the core of the channel, is knowing that every time you come here, you don't have to worry about being lied to or being sold something. That was just one thing when I first started trading. I felt like no matter what YouTube channel I went to, I felt like someone was either trying to sell me something, or I would find out that they're lying about whatever it is, whether they're actually paper trading instead of really trading. And usually it was to sell you something or to try to just, you know, be popular on YouTube, which I don't really care about. The only reason I would like to see the channel grow is so that we can find more people, especially newer traders, and try to get to them first, right? Hopefully we can get to them before before they find, you know, some of those bigger gurus that are going to try to, you know, take more money out of your pockets. Like Kevin Jones is a very good example. If he would have went to some other guru and asked them the same advice, they would have been like, yeah, use my promo code and sign up at CMEG, you know, because all they're worried about is getting his commissions in the long run. So I'm always going to give you truthful advice. I'm always going to try to help you out the best way that I can. I am by no means a professional trader. I hope to be one day, but I am definitely not there yet. We are still very much working on our strategy. And I'm not going to lie, for having 3 losing trades today and only 1 winner that was just half R, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Took 1 max 1R loss on LTHM to start, which let me put MYO up on my other chart so we can just kind of go over it real quick. LTHM. So just to go over it real quick with you guys, we took the first entry. We had a nice big move up towards that $0.50. We were on the other side of the $0.50. We took our first entry and it popped up. So we took our second entry knowing, and we knew this in the moment, but we knew our max loss was going to be right before that $11 area, which in hindsight, which a lot of other traders do, by the way, in hindsight, we would have got stopped out anyway. We never got a pullback. And it still hasn't pulled back, which is just crazy. But we decided to say, hey, if it does want to hit 11 and it decides to fake out a little bit, we'll jump back in because we're still looking to get down to that 1050 area. So we were looking for upwards of 40 cents, only risking less than 10 cents. And we did that twice because the second time it faked us out, it stopped us out and it looked to be a fake out. So we jumped back in and we did the same thing, just risking a small amount, less than 10 cents, looking for 40 cents. So those two trades, if they would have worked out, could have been 4-to-1 on our money type trades, right? We were risking 1 to get 4 in a sense. I could have did the math better to where we risked $25 on each of those trades based off of what the high of day was at that point. But I was just trying to be quick because I didn't want to miss the opportunity that it was presenting in case it did drop. So we just kind of jumped in, and it should have been with 100 shares on both, but we ended up taking 50 just because I part of me just wanted to have it work more. So like I wanted to prove to myself that I could jump into these trades because in the past I would just watch it and it would work. So I'm not going to sit here and say because I jumped in, it didn't work, but I am going to say that I'm happy and proud of myself that I did jump into these trades and I wasn't scared to do so. Even if it cost me even if it took me taking less share size to do it. And it's something Mark Douglas actually said. There's some traders that were trading 1,000 share lots that in order for them to get over the fear of exactly what I'm talking about, he had to drop them all the way down to 1 share to get them to have that confidence to just jump into these trades. So I've never been, I have traded 1,000 shares before back in my stupid days when I first started, back when I was following other gurus, that we found on YouTube. And I've learned, right? It's a process. It's all about learning. MYO is open. Let's just jump over. And it's going to halt again right away at 16.15. And that's why I don't play low floaters, guys. These things are just dangerous. And this thing's on SSR, too. I just realized that. It's scary. Part of me kind of wants to get an LTHM again. Should I try a 4th time? I'd be risking 16 cents this time, though. But we'd still be looking to gain. It'd be about at least a 2 to 1. So MYO's halted again. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. I need to remember to turn that back off. This thing is so confusing. You want more applesauce? Let me catch up on the chat real quick. With how much money are you trading from one Tuz? You can kind of do the math. If I'm taking 50 shares of a $11 stock, that's what, 550 bucks. Give me 1 second. More applesauce? Love your applesauce. You want some more orange juice too? Now that I cleaned it up. Alrighty. All right. Why not? Why not? I mean, this looks like it wants to fail at this point, and maybe we'll just risk 11 at this point. Well, maybe what's this? 11. We'll do 1106. If it wants to get back up over this pivot point here of 1105, the odds are it's going to continue. So we really need to see this get under this 1083 area, and we might actually get the pullback that we were looking for. So let's put our stop in here at 1106, and then we'll just keep an eye on it. What is your equity? Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't know. I'm at $7,285 as of, and that's before today's. That's what I started with today. You are not taking MYO after the halt? No, I'm not. I would never trade that, long or short. Jeff is saying PCG. It is up on the minus I3 scan, as you guys can see. Didn't quite hit 20, but it is there. It might have. I actually don't know. Yeah, it actually did. That's a big move to the downside. 40. Gave you that 16, that whole dollar pop and everything. That was nice. No problem, One Tuz. Welcome, by the way. I think that's the first time I've seen you. Take a MYO second halt is not a good place to get it. Take a look at dust. What do you mean dust? Is that a stock? Oh yeah, I see dust is like slowly grinding up. Looks like a grinder to me. I wouldn't really mess with that. Looks very choppy with not much range on the daily as well. I personally wouldn't be interested in that. I'm the one share trader at the moment. Hey, Mr. Gifford, you have to do what you got to do. That's actually why I don't. If someone has a really small account, less than $2,500, $3,000, that's why I recommend that you start at somewhere like E-Trade or TD Ameritrade or something like that, because you can use one share and you don't have to pay commissions on it. So if that's what it takes to kind of, get the emotions of using real money, but you don't want to you obviously want to protect your capital, and then so be it. I've been trading with real money pretty much since I started trading, which was August of 2018. That's when I started, and it's been a journey. I started the YouTube channel back in February of last year. So I hadn't really been trading, but for like six months or so, not even, like 5 or 6 months. So if you want to go back to when I first started the channel, it's kind of when I switched my strategy to the new intensity strategy. But I used to trade every strategy that you could think of before that. Really need this thing to break down through 83. Thomas says, I'm proud that LTHM looks like the typical Tim MMA style fight and no fight there today. Congrats. That's so true. And how many times would you see me just watch it and come all the way back down after that? So I'm trying to be not fearful. And I would not even consider this FOMO. This is just me I've seen this chart so many times that I feel like I'm putting myself in a high probability trade, but at the same time, I'm not risking that much to try to gain more than I'm risking. So that's what it comes down to. I've made so many improvements when it comes to that. It's not even funny. Before, Thomas is right. Instead of covering my full position here, I would have kind of just let it go and maybe look to add. And then when it went high day again, maybe look to add again and then add again. So instead of just taking these paper cut losses, looking for the bigger move back down when the opportunity presents itself, I would basically just be fighting and hoping that at any given moment, this was going to turn around and go in my direction. So, and that's just not the case, because this thing could be up at 1150 right now, right? And I'd be, and if you're still fighting it up there, then you're in some big trouble. But by cutting it and allowing it to kind of do its thing before you look to re-enter, like I did, you're not putting your account or your hard-earned money, your equity, whatever you want to call it, you're not putting it at risk. You're only giving yourself the best setups. How did I find the intensity scanner, guys? Actually, through watching when I followed Kevin Avery a lot more closely, back when he was putting out like live day trading videos. He's still part of Team ISW, but back then he was, posting things every day, just more of what I would watch. Now he's kind of more towards the trying to teach type videos instead of just, putting out the raw content pretty much every day. But yeah, he was using it back then, and that's kind of what brought me into it. And I basically, when I went to start my YouTube channel, don't expect this to happen to you. Your mileage may vary, as they would say. But I shot a message out to Brian, the owner over at ISW, and told him I was going to start a YouTube channel. And he basically said, okay, come into the chat. I'll give you the price of the platinum scanners, and I'll put you in the chat for a couple weeks. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. And that was actually when I took my biggest loss in my trading career, right as that was all happening on OCX. And that I pretty much blew up my account, but got lucky, and it came back down a little bit later. But I ended up losing a lot of money on OCX, like as I made the transition into the new strategy with Team ISW. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. The rest is on YouTube. If you want to go watch my story, just go back to my very first video, and you can actually see I know it's a trade of ZKIN, but you can see up in the top left, I was still a short trader at the time. that I was still in the OCX trade. I held that thing for about a week, and it was not a good trade. I slowly kind of let it come back down after that big crazy move it made that day, and I just kind of weaned myself out of it for as little of a loss as I could. MYO halted again. Yeah, I took that off my chart. Oh, halted to the downside. Crazy. It actually went up to 1765. Nuts. This LTHM, man, get out of here. This thing is just nuts. It does not want to pull back. We didn't even get under that 83 area that we were talking about. What did we get to? 86, 86, 84. So we got to 84. It needs to break that 83 area. Jeez, and right back up to 11. Big seller there. We might actually get stopped out if it breaks that seller. What's our order sitting at? 1106. And again, the reason I put my order at 1106 is because we got this pivot point here, right? 1105, 1105, 1104, 1105. It couldn't get through 1105. So if it gets through 1105, to me, that's no different than it trying to get up to high a day. So to me, it makes no sense to, give it that extra 5 or 6 cents because the odds are if it breaks that pivot point of 1105, then it's going to get there. So we're through 11. See what it does at 1105 if it gets there. And we're sitting at 1106. So obviously we're trying to use that wall that was formed there at 1105 to our advantage, like I had mentioned before earlier in the stream. This free Weeble doesn't show float, kind of a bummer. TC2000 quit showing accurate float too. Well, you can see the float on the scanners. Getting banged in the back by a shopping cart. I know. Oh, and we should be stopped out. Why are we not stopped? Okay, there we go. So we ended up getting 1107. We got a 1 cent slippage there. But the odds are it's going to go towards high of day on this type of move. So look at this chart, guys. Just, ugh. we just, LTHM was the death of us today. I mean, granted, we took 3 trades and we didn't even hit a 1R max loss on 3 separate trades. So I can't be mad about that, right? We took 3 opportunities where we were looking to make we had a high probability trade set up and it just failed every single time. Literally 4 trades on 1 stock, all to me considered higher probability setups, and not one of them worked. Crazy. Market does what it wants, guys. The quicker you learn that the market is going to do what it wants, the better off you shall be. Ah, this kiddo. I think unless something like crazy good pops up, we're definitely calling it a day. Things are starting to slow down anyway. Really haven't seen anything too crazy. Let's put LTHM down here. We'll pull MYO up to get some popcorn. Look at this thing, gave everything back plus some. What did PCG end up doing there? I saw Jeff had mentioned it. Yeah. So PCG would have been a winner. These are the types of moves I'm looking for, right? The quick, intense moves on the big volume. Feel out that bottom. It even used that whole dollar as a nice little area of support. Gave you the little pop through, and this thing's grinding its way back up. So this would have been a nice one. PCG is one of them interesting stocks ever since that wildfire that killed a lot of people. So to me, PCG is very news driven. So that's kind of why I tend to stay away from it, even though I've traded it a bunch. It can be risky, is what I'm saying. Especially when you get a big dip like that, you're like, oh crap, is there another fire going on? Or it's always going to be in the back of your head. Hey Tim, how do you find out how much CMEG is charging you fees? Signed up with one guy with his promo code before. I found your channel. Sorry, that's fine. But anyway, just would like to check how much they are charging me. Thanks. Yeah, sure. Let me get you the link. Copy. So if you use that link right there, it should take you to a page. You'll have to log in, and it should be like all your reports and everything like that you would need to know as far as like how much they're charging you, fees, commissions, all that good stuff. Checking in to see you're still here, my man. Glad to see. I hope you're doing fine. LTHM is going to fade. Don't think a 150 mil float can run that much. Well, you would think so. But if we go back down to the chart, it's going. It's going. I might take one more stab at this if it tries to get up to 1150. I was hoping it did it right here on this candle, but it's decided to stall here, because that's where a lot of, like, if we draw the daily line here where there's a bunch of previous support that could be used as resistance, is right there at that area. So I'd actually be interested to try this one more time if it does get there. MYO is just silly. We're not even going to watch that thing. LTHM, I'm just switching charts. Yeah, the monthly fees are, if you're using DOS, it's 125, and I think if you're using Sterling, it's like 131 or something like that. I'm watching SAVA and LJ PC for continuation play. Let's see. SAVA I know is a lower float. That thing's in like a big, I guess what people would consider a bull flag at the moment on the daily. LJ PC. Yeah, LJ PC is kind of curling. If it could get back up there towards $9 and break through $9, that could be a pretty big bullish play. FYI, you can switch promo codes anytime. Yes, Jeff is correct. You can do that. All you got to do is email CMEG and let them know. So if you do find that I support you a little bit more than whichever code you use, and it's the same discount, then, hey, wink, wink. Monthly, yeah, we already got that. MYO is a newsletter, pump and dump. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Are you short biased or long biased in general? One does. I am very short biased. I just recently started taking more long positions. I don't know. I find that shorts work a little bit better than longs in my personal opinion. So that's kind of why I'm short biased. It's really that simple. Kevin says, hi, Tim. You do not use the 6-to-1 at CMEG. Also, thanks again. Yeah, I really don't. It's probably rare that I even use 3-to-1. To be completely honest, like if you do the math on most of my trades, I'm at a point right now where I don't really use that much, and you don't have to. I've proven to you guys before. Just yesterday, I took 10 shares of a stock and made over my half R on one entry with 10 shares. That's all. I mean, you don't need to be using an insane amount of share size to make money. Obviously it depends on what kind of money you're looking to make, but I would assume anyone that's pretty much watching me or, using CMEG and stuff like that, you're not really trading the big size just yet, and which is obviously perfectly fine. That's what I'm doing right now, but you have to start somewhere. I'd rather you start small so that you don't lose your whole account and then you can't trade ever again because you just don't have the money to do it. So why not protect your capital while you're learning how to trade by trading smartly, trading smart. I don't think there's a LY on the end of that. By trading smart and realizing that you don't need a ton of share size to make some decent money. It's all about just learning how to. I'm sure you guys can hear that. I'm sorry. But it's just about learning how to attempt to let your winners ride, coming up with a system that does it for you, like I'm trying to do right now, and just making sure you have set risk. You should know what you're risking at any given time before you enter a trade. And that was one of my huge problems when I was using my old 112 system is I would get in 112 with assumed correct share size, and I could be down $700 like really quick. And I didn't have an exit plan for that. It was just like, well, I hope it comes back down to what I wanted my max loss to be, which was $100. But you can't guarantee that it's going to come back down or back up if you're long. So it's definitely an interesting. It's all interesting, right? The stock market is definitely. It is as easy as hitting buy and sell, but there's so much to it. I play a game called Rocket League, and it's basically soccer with cars. It's really easy to load up the game for the first time and kind of figure out how to do it. So it's fun and easy to play, but to actually become a master at it takes thousands of hours. I mean, thousands. And I mean, in that game, I've put in thousands of hours and I'm still nowhere near as good as some of these people that put in twice as much time. So it's really about putting in the time, learning the craft, learning everything there is to know about it, figuring out all the different mechanics, the different, just different things that happen, learning the ins and the outs of everything that there is to know about it, and just going from there, right? That's what it comes down to is, are you willing to put in the work and do everything the correct way? And I always used to say this, and it's still true. This is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. It's not Wall Street bets on Reddit where people are taking call options on Tesla with $50,000 or $40,000 or whatever and turning it into 1.2 million. But yeah, that actually did happen. But what I'm trying to get at is that same person is going to keep doing that same thing, and they're going to end up losing all that money, right? The next time they do it, it's going to go the other way. So if you can figure out how to be consistent, that is what it comes down to. Because in the long run, once you do figure out how to be consistent, that's when you start making the real money. Because then you can start scaling up. Because if you can learn, like right now, I'm trying to make $50 a day using my trades. I would like to make $50 a day over the course of 2 trades if they're both green. I'm risking $25 at any given trade. And if I can consistently make $50 a day, any given day, that means I can consistently make $500 a day, right? All I would have to do is just add a 0. And at these share size, on these tickers with the liquidity in these shares, like that extra 450 shares is not going to be an issue. Yes, can I help you? So it's all about being consistent no matter how small it is, because eventually you're going to get to the point where you can scale up. But you have to be consistent first. What are you doing? What, you want the rocket? Rocket? Yeah, is that what you wanted? Oh, you get me? You're silly. Ooh. Alex, send me your promo code. I'll do it. It's in the description. Here, I'll put it. Stop it. I'll put it in the chat too. Thanks. You stop. Look what you did. I'm getting beat up by a 2-year-old. What do you see? There's the code, Alex. Your ideal float would be above. I personally just want it to be above like 40. If it can be. I did not have my montage locked. I'm not in a trade, am I? Okay, good. You scared me there for a second. I am going to lock them, though, because there's no reason for them to be open. Yeah, I tend to like anything over 40 is what I'm looking at. What is I doing? We don't have shorts on I today for some reason. Usually we used to have shorts on it. But yeah, Mr. Gifford, I'm always just looking for anything over 40. I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot. Yeah, I'm not letting LTHM influence me or try to sucker me in again. If it wanted to get up to 1150, we would have took a stab if it was on this move, and it would have worked out, obviously, it looks like. But that's obviously in hindsight. But now it also looks like a complete grinder, right? So this thing could very much just do this, and just kind of grind its way. It never came down to VWAP. VWAP's just steadily climbing. So it could just, there's no point. I'm done with that. Let's catch back up here. My strategy is fire, but I overtrade and take too much risk on. Just need to pick small positions for things that are not 100% obvious. Exactly, Christian. I couldn't agree more that sometimes the 1-1-2 strategy that I was using, you'd want to apply more risk to your A++ setups, but if it was just like a B+ or an A- type setup, you could, don't not take the trade because and this was something I really struggled with. That's why I almost like never took trades before. And because I was very picky. I was only taking A++ setups. So I would sit there and, have a high win percentage, but then you would just have that one trade that didn't work. And I'd be like, well, why is this not working? I'm so used to winning every single time. And I would fight it. And then that's how I would end up losing so much money. So I don't do that anymore, but you're absolutely correct. If you're not 100% sure, it doesn't mean that you can't take the trade. Just maybe put a little bit less risk on it because you're not as sure as you would be with something that was a little bit more A++. I'm here at the report page, so I guess they are charging me $2.95 per trade, but where to see how much they are charging me per share? I'm confused. If they're the deal is if you're being charged $2.95 a trade, that's up to 1,000 shares. So the only time that you would have to worry about it being per share is if it gets over 1,000 shares, and then it would be 0.005 per share. So if you traded exactly, we'll just use 1,000 as an example, you would be charged $5. So it's pretty much half of whatever your share size is to get the number in dollars. So if you use 2,000 shares, it would be $10, if that makes sense. I've been playing Rocket League when it was still called Supersonic I can't say it. Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars. Yes. I actually heard about that and I went to go play it, and then that's when I heard Rocket League was coming out. And so I waited for Rocket League to come out, and I actually bought Rocket League the very first day that it was available. So I've been playing Rocket League since it first came out. But yes, that was the first, basically, Rocket League in the past. That was kind of like Counter-Strike Source is now Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It was kind of like the game before the better game now. Anal Farmer. What does that mean? One tuz. LTHM under T-line now showing bearish momentum. Would wait for 1090 for confirmation of short. Yeah, which is why it'll probably get right to 1090, 1093, and it'll go back up. I mean, I actually liked our entry here on that last attempt. It made a lower high, came down, made another lower high, and we jumped in looking for that big break of that 1083 area, and we just didn't get it. It got to 1084 and said, nope, we're going back up. Okay, so I think $2.95 per trade and per share is 0.03. It's definitely not 0.03. That would be a lot. You're thinking 0.003. Is that how it's supposed to be with the promo code? Okay, I see you say got it, thanks, so I already answered that. But yeah, it's just for anybody that's just now possibly listening. It's 0.005 if you go over 1,000 shares. But anything up to 1,000 shares, it'll be $2.95 a trade. Yeah, Thomas. I know you. For some reason I had saw that before I was catching up. Yeah, the montage definitely wasn't locked. He was kicking my butt. We always got wasted playing it. It's so funny and gets worse each round. Yeah, I just went to a LAN this past Saturday, and the two main games they play are Rocket League and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I'm getting better at Call of Duty. I don't really play it. I play Counter-Strike when I do play FPS, but Call of Duty is kind of fun. The more and more you play it. My big problem with Call of Duty is I don't know the maps very well. So I tend to get shot in the back a lot. But with Counter-Strike, I'm pretty good. In Rocket League, I'm like by far the best of the group. So whenever we do like little 2v2 tournaments, because usually we'll have like 12 plus people there. And so we'll just make like a bracket tournament. And I always win. It's actually kind of funny because this past LAN, I started letting them win the first game just to kind of give myself a challenge, which is bad. You shouldn't probably ever do that, but I did. Is that pizza? Is that play pizza? So Daddy's about to get off and we'll make some lunch and we'll play. I can't make pizza though. We don't have any more. Oh, actually we do. Do you want pizza? Pizza? I can make you one. Here, I'll even go start it right now. I'll be right back. I'm going to get out of here in about 5 minutes, guys. It's 11 o'clock. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them here for me. I'm just going to go throw a pizza in for him real quick. And then if you have any after we get out of here, feel free to either jump in the Discord. I'll be there for pretty much the remainder of the day. Or you can just leave a comment on YouTube whenever this thing processes. I'll be putting out a video of my trades after he goes down for his nap. And that's all I got. What did you say? Market bought SAVA on the breakout. So breakout was 888. So hopefully you sold because it only got to 9. And it looks like it's pulling back. What'd you do? Who was saying that about LTHM? Where'd it go? LTHM 1090. It was you, Christian. What'd I tell you? Sometimes the bigger money, if they really want to, they see what you see, right? And they know that technical traders are looking for something specific, and they use it against you. So always keep that in mind. Tim, I am a new trader, so thanks for all the help. Is 6 trades a week enough trades to grow a small account? I mean, it can be. It depends on what your profit factor is. If you're making 3 to 1 on your money every single time you enter a trade, then yeah. If you're making 10 to 1, people go for 10 to 1 on their risk reward. If you're making that and you're only taking 6 trades a week, yeah. I mean, you can make money just taking 1 trade a week. It just depends on how much you're willing to risk per trade and how much you're looking to make. So it really comes down to how you personally trade, whether 6 trades a week. I mean, if you're just scalping, you're only taking like 5 cents a trade. Obviously 6 trades is not going to be enough unless you're taking some crazy massive size, which obviously I don't recommend. It didn't hit 1090, 1093. All right, I will be right back. If anybody has any, now I agree, Christian. I agree that it's probably going to get a bit of a pullback, but it might try that 1050 area first, just looking at the daily. But this thing is definitely really extended. But it wouldn't be the first time, like just real quick, looking at the daily, it wouldn't be the first time you see a candle like this and it just holds, right? It just holds up there above 11 for the rest of the day. I mean, it happens. You don't know what it's going to do. But all right, I will be right back. did it hit 1090? I see that wick. 1090 on the dot. Look at you. Come back and Tesla. Nuh-uh. Oh, it's on 900. You had me excited. On the way out, guys, I would appreciate it if you could hit that like button. People say it helps the YouTube algorithm, all that good stuff. But hey, if we can help the channel grow, and all you gotta do is click a little button for me, I'd highly appreciate it. And if you're not subbed, obviously hit subscribe. I like to think that I put out some good content, especially for the newer generation of traders. We're trying to grow a community and just be one, right? We're trying to all beat the market. No matter how we do it, we're always looking to help each other out. That's the key. So if by me posting my videos, trying to put some educational stuff out that I learned, if it can help you in any way, then I'm doing what I set out to do. And that's all there is to it. But wreck? What do you mean I got wrecked? It didn't go under yet. It's still at 1090. I mean, it does look bearish here. It looks like a descending triangle. Should we play the descending triangle? No, I'm not playing this thing again. Oh no, it's gonna do it. If it gets under that 1083, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry for you guys live. Here, we'll even put the sad violin on. It's gonna finally work. It's gonna finally work. It's gonna make me cry. All right, so we're through 1090, but that 1083, I'm telling you, is the key. It just shoots right down to 1050. I would cry just a little bit. And headed back up to 11. GURE? It didn't halt. Oh, it did halt. It's out of the halt now. It's not even on the scanner because this thing, the volume on this thing is crap. Look at the move that's making and look at the volume. It doesn't even have 200,000 volume on the entire day, and it's making that kind of a move. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If you want to talk some more, feel free to jump in the Discord. That's all I got for you. I'm gonna get out of here. Let me get to my little stream ending thingamajigger, and if you watch the video later, I'll see you then. I won't technically see you, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.